This is where discipline really comes into play. So we're literally a few ticks off getting tapped in, but now I'm not going to get in at this point because it would ruin my risk to reward. So we're not going to run a 50% tap because it's a valid stop to the high. I'd only run it if it wasn't a valid stop. So this looks like it's going to run without us. We're literally 2 ticks off getting tapped in. Alright, so I'm in for shorts there. Stop at this short-term high. TP at the New York open price. So now you just gotta be patient, wait for price to unfold. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out. If you don't, and you just gotta let price do its thing. So break even will be at this first short-term low if we get to that point, and then our stop loss is at the first short-term high, and then the TP is at the New York open price. There we go. So let's see how this trade goes. So when coming to taking trades, you cannot be second guessing when taking trades. If it is a valid setup in your plan, that is a trade you have to take. There is no ifs or buts. If you're hesitating when taking entries, that is simply because you're either using too much size on your position, or you're simply just not confident enough when taking entries, and you shouldn't be on either funded accounts or using real funds, whatever strategy it is you're using. So in this situation, ES could potentially go up to take the short-term high up here, whilst NQ lags behind to then move lower. But obviously if they both move up, then they both move up. But that's the scenario I could potentially see happening here. We've also got this fair value gap is paired with a 1 minute breaker block. So fair value gaps, you don't want to just take any random fair value gap. You want to take high probability fair value gaps with actual context. So a fair value gap with context would be a breaker block paired with this gap, so you can see how the breaker is going through the fair value gap. That's how that would be a fair value gap with actual context. So you guys can see how I've told you how it's unfolded. So we've manipulated higher, taken out London highs, had the short-term high. We've taken out the short-term high, we had originally had a short-term high, it went up, took out the short-term high, moved lower, then took out further stops, and then displaced lower. That's the displacement, and there we go. So we've hit break even now. So this is now a risk-free trade. So if we get stopped at break even, it doesn't matter. If we run to final TP, we run to final TP. This is completely risk-free and break even. And the reason why you're break even here is because trade. So if we get stopped at break even, it doesn't matter. If we run to final TP, we run to final TP. This is completely risk-free and break even. And the reason why you're break even here is because price has taken the first short-term low, but ES hasn't. So this is now valid to move up higher and potentially continue higher. So you want to completely take the risk off, and now it's just a completely running free trade. because, sorry, I didn't actually explain why you then moves higher. It's because it's a bullish SMT. Likewise, how we had the SMT because NQ initially took London highs and ES didn't. We now have, you see where it says break even, price is taken break even, but on ES we haven't taken it, so it's a bullish SMT. So let's see if we get stopped to break even for the 6th trade in a row, or we actually go and hit a TP in the last like week. And there we go, stop to break even, and we're out that trade. So didn't lose anything, didn't make anything, and that is why you gotta set up your risk management. So this is now plausible to move higher and potentially go for 21894. But if this does then want to move lower, it could potentially do that. So that is my 6th trade in a row being stopped at break even. Holy.